let's talk Indy, man. This is one of the, Graham, I say all the time, and I'm blessed enough to get to cover a lot of these. I think there are 5 American sporting institutions that transcend their sport. The Super Bowl does, the Kentucky Derby does, the Masters does, the Daytona 500 does, and absolutely the Indianapolis 500 does. So a lot of people watching and listening will have never experienced what that day is. Encapsulate that day, especially for a guy like you who grew up in it literally from birth.
Yeah, I think, that day, it's a special day in the sense that, it's the world's largest, single-day sporting event. Marty, I think this year we're going to see over 300,000 show up. Ticket sales, grandstand ticket sales up around 30,000 tickets. Think about that number. When you think about the size of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you go, 30,000 is not that much. You think about it compared to, that's bigger than any NHL stadium. That's bigger than, most, even a lot of NFL stadiums, that's probably half capacity change just in that. So, we're excited to have everybody back. I think post-COVID too. Sure, last year we had some 135,000 supposedly. It looked a lot more than that to me. But this year to have everybody back, the whole theme's been back home again in Indiana, and I think it's shaping up well, man. We're gonna have a nice race day. It's supposed to be pretty toasty, pretty warm. But that day is all about tradition. That day is also all about transcending your sport. You win that day, it changes your world. It changes your life. I tell people all the time, my dad won everything he could win, won 3 championships. Yet they never say Bobby Rahal, 3-time IndyCar champion.
Correct.
They always say 1986 Indy 500 champion. Just is what it is. So, even for the greats, Michael Andretti, for instance, he's one of the all-time greatest drivers, American drivers that there is, right? He never won the Indy 500, and that gets brought up constantly. I'm sure he's sick and tired of hearing about that. But this race can change your world, and we've been close before, man. You know that, and hopefully we'll be able to do it this time around.
How much have you allowed yourself to visualize what it would be like to win, and how much does it still motivate you 15 times in now to get that done?
Motivates me more now than ever before, because I know the chances, the opportunities remaining are less than the opportunities that we've had. And so, I'm trying, we're trying as best we can, to make it happen. Last year was so close. We've been close before. Finishing third twice and, running up front. Each of the last, I would say 4 or 5 years, we've been in the hunt come the end. The end results may not show that. 2019, tangled with Bourdais, trying to pass him for third or fourth with, 20 to go. You got to make that move. You've got to try in that position in the race. Last year really being, few from a strategy standpoint, having everybody completely beat was tough to have a mistake and to not finish when the wheel fell off there for us. But, we're just as motivated as ever, if not more than ever. And, anytime's a good time to win the Indy 500, but this weekend sounds particularly good.
500 miles is so long, and so much can happen. You might have the best car for 480 of them, and then it just, goes to shit. What does it take? Walk us through what it takes to finish 500, but then to be there in that last run, after that last pit stop, to actually have the opportunity. You just said it a moment ago. You have been so close. So you're right there in knowing exactly what it takes to win it. Define that for us.
Well, I think it's all about preparation throughout the race. You prepare before the race to put a good car on the track to go racing. However, we know as the race develops, the track changes. We know it's going to get more difficult. We're looking at potentially 90 degrees on Sunday. This new track surface, the sealer that they put down, really hot, very dark, very black on TV. I think Roger likes it because it looks good on TV. But the downside of that is it's super toasty in the cars. And we need to put ourselves in the best place and tune all day, whether that be front wing angles, whether that be rear wing angle, which we can adjust, whether that be tire pressures and our roll bar settings and things that we can change in the car. We've got to make sure that we're prepared and we're ahead of the game. So when it comes 170 is about when your last stop's going to be, 165, 170, that when you make that stop, not only do you come out up front, which you need to do, you need to come out, with only a guy or two ahead of you, but also just that you've got all of the right changes, all of the right aerodynamic settings to be able to go if you need to. And that's the one thing, we can adjust the downforce level, right? So we can take the guys during a pit stop, which is amazing that in a 7-second pit stop, they can get rear wing in or out. But you want to make sure come the last day, if you're running up front, you need to be pulling some downforce out. You need that sucker to fly, and so we've got to make all the right calls. Trust me, I've taken downforce out in years prior, and it did nothing but kill us. We actually went slower. And so we need to be prepared, like I said, that last stop, that we need to make the right changes and that those are thought out that we do the right stuff, because you can do nothing but kill yourself, as far as your competitiveness if you go the wrong way. So we'll see how it goes.
Scott Dixon just drove 235 miles an hour average for 4 laps. You guys are absolute lunatics.
Yeah.
When does that feel normal? Like, how does that become normal?
Well, I think it'd be best asked of Jimmy, actually. For guys like us, we've been qualifying at Indy for a while now. I'm not going to say it ever feels normal, because it doesn't. Even Dixon, I talked to him and he's like, oh, dude, like it felt, super quick and whatever. But at the same time, Marty, those Ganassi cars are on rails this week.
Yeah.
All of them. And I don't know what they're doing or why they're so fast. But, like you watch the majority of their qualifying runs and they don't even look like they're trying, compared to most everybody else who's sliding around. So, frankly, I think that those cars were so quick. They were on rails and, looked pretty under control. But to me, I was telling somebody the other day, like when you go from qualifying horsepower, from race horsepower level to qualifying, when you enter turn 1 at 241, 242, whatever some of those guys do, versus entering turn 1, and all you're seeing is a wall, right? The intensity is high because it's a sharp.
Yeah, people
turn.
have to understand it's a 90-degree turn. When these guys are going into turn 1 at 250,
it's 90. It's all 90s. All you're seeing is the fence, right? And grandstands in turn 1. But when you go in there at 241 or 242 versus going in there at 230, that's a big difference. It flat out visually is a big difference. I think I was talking to Jimmy about it. I think that's something that he experienced in his qualifying run. Was he's turning, thinking, "Oh, I got it," and then realize, "Oh shit, no, I don't."
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I'm way offline, and now I'm going to hit the fence. But it takes the brain to catch up to that extra speed. Things just happen so quickly, makes it pretty tough.